Hello, hello. This is the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Wrap, episode 253. This is Rajyasree, and with me today, we have
Abbas, Momin.
Welcome, Abbas. We've decided to listen to our subscribers and replace Abhinandan basically. Because they, of course, don't want me to be replaced, as we all know. So today we are going to be discussing The Wilds.
Yes.
Then we are going to discuss, I'm trying to remember what all I put on it, which I immediately forgot, Modern Love Mumbai.
The very hyped Modern Love Mumbai.
Yeah, the very hyped Modern Love Mumbai. The Baby, which I wanted just to discuss 2 weeks back, but of course Abhinandan had not watched it. And we are going to discuss the worst, is it the worst person in the world?
Yes.
No. Yes. So the good thing about having Abbas or Nenika on is that not only do you discuss what is on the list, they've actually watched something which is not on the list also. So you have plus like that. Which is
Can I be honest? When the list, I got the list and there was the show The Baby. For a very brief second, I was horrified that this is the Akshay Kumar film Baby, and I was like, I don't think Abhinandan or Rajyasree are fans of.
But imagine if you'd actually watched that Baby instead by mistake. Then you would have never hosted this again.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. So what should we start with? Something which both of us have watched.
Yes, the very hyped Modern Love Mumbai.
Modern Love.
Yes.
So Modern Love is based on the Modern Love New York Times Modern Love series of essays, which are, I think it's weekly essays, and honestly the essays are quite nice, and it's just that after point when you keep, like, it can get a little, I won't even say mundane, and a little routine, and a little like it's a little sentimental. After a point you're like, okay, because it's not just about romantic love, the Modern Love series, it's also about any kind of love with friends, like friends, fraternal, anything, parents and children. So Modern Love Bombay is the second part of the series. That there was a Modern Love which wasn't anything. I don't think they pinned it on a city. And it was quite horrible, actually. As far as I remember, I hadn't watched the whole thing. I hadn't been able to watch the whole thing.
No, I did not watch any of it, but I heard mixed reviews. There were some people who said, yeah, parts of it are good, parts of it are not that great. I think 2 seasons of the previous Modern Love iteration were out, and the first was more bearable than the second one, is from what I've heard.
Okay, so the second one is the one I watched all 6 episodes of, because I am dedicated to this podcast. As I like pointing out every opportunity I get. Okay, so the 6 episodes, the things which are, first of all, it's set in Bombay because all the filmmakers are pretty much from Bombay or currently in Bombay. So they didn't want to shift out location.
Yes, and to my disappointment, not even like various parts of Bombay, just like the same corner of Bombay is featured in almost all the
other than Thane, which they made Thane sound like it was San Francisco or something. It's not, people. I'm sure you're like, I lived for 2 years in Bombay and I worked in Andheri East. It really, I'm actually much younger. I just look like this because of going to Andheri East from Bandra. From Khar, I used to go to Andheri East. But it's all very sad. Life is very tough. but so the interesting parts which I felt that they didn't hype up, which they should have, is that Ranveer Brad, the chef, is acting in this like he has a starring role. It's not that he has some side role. That Sarika has made this is her first film in God knows how long.
Really long,
yeah. So that, then the fact that Tanuja is in this, Nasiruddin Shah is in it, then Masaba Gupta, who should not act according to me. I'm sorry. I know that I shouldn't say this about another woman, but the acting is quite terrible, I have to say. And I watched the whole of Masaba, that show, because I have...
You're dedicated to the show.
Yeah, I'm dedicated to the show, and I clearly have insomnia. And after a point, it's just easier to watch something than read it. But there are 6 stories.
Hmm.
And the directors are like very well-known directors. So there's Vishal Bhardwaj has done Mumbai Dragon, which has Nasiruddin, and it has Mayank Chang,
Yes.
the singer.
Yeah.
And
Which frankly was the standout of all the stories in my opinion, and was my favorite.
yeah, so that's it. When it started, I
Hmm.
actually was like, okay, what is happening over here? Like, it took me a while to get into it, but then when
Yes.
you, so it's basically set in Bombay. It's set in sort of, it's not even, I didn't even know Bombay has a Chinatown, honestly, but it's a Chinese temple on top of which or under which this lady lives.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yes.
she is a Singaporean actress, Yan. Her name is Yan, and she has a son, which is Mayank Chang. And the son lives in Andheri. He has a girlfriend who's not Chinese.
Yes.
And I think so it's about the mother coming to terms with the fact that her son is now has another woman in his life who is vegetarian on top of
Yes.
that, which really upsets her for some reason, with good reason. Even I can imagine in our house, if someone brought home a vegetarian, we'd be like, God, yeah. But, and like and basically the evolution of that relationship and how she comes to terms with it. And Nasiruddin Shah plays a neighbor, right?
Nasiruddin Shah,
Someone.
so the relationship isn't really clarified. What I presume is probably he was a friend of her of her husband who's passed away,
Okay.
because he's like a Muh Bola Bhai type of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, so he is a Sardar in this thing, and I think this is the first time Nasiruddin's playing a Sardar.
Yeah, even I tried to remember, and I
Yeah.
couldn't recall any time he's played a
And he
Sardar.
speaks their dialect, their Chinese dialect. So, and it's just a very nicely, the way the mother-son relationship is shown, the way it's shown that, the mother shows her love by packing food for him.
Food, yes, yeah.
And if he says no, it's taken as a personal, like it's a massive slight. It's not even a personal slight. And he has dreams of becoming a singer. And according to the mother, because Chinese people are a lot like Bengalis and all also, you don't become singers and all, you become like doctor, engineer, scientist.
So yeah, there is a tradition of Chinese migrants who came to India. There are families who are all dentists. So even Mayank Chang in real life is actually a dentist, and his father was also a dentist, and my father is also a dentist, and Mayank Chang's dad was my father's junior in college. So the first time Mayank Chang came on Indian Idol, and he introduced himself as this as a dentist who also is from Bhilai but also sings. So my father turned to my mother, and my dad and mom had a love marriage. So he instantly turned and I was like, "ये उसका बेटा तो नहीं है वो जो junior था मेरा." And then later on in the newspaper he read his dad's name and he's like, "हाँ ये तो वही है." So
he's basically playing himself in a way, because he's a dentist. He's a dentist intern or whatever. He's trained to be a dentist, and he studied to be a dentist.
Who wants to be a singer, who's also Chinese but Indian born.
Yeah.
So all those qualities merge into his character in the film. So that I thought was very well done. But I think the scene stealer is clearly the mother, because
she's excellent.
She's excellent. I don't know if she learned Hindi specifically for this film or she speaks Hindi, but she picks up those nuances of the dialogue delivery so well.
No, but I'm assuming she learned because she's a Singaporean actress.
Right.
So, and she acts in Chinese films in Singapore, right? So, like, unless she's learned Hindi at some point, but they keep her Hindi dialogue to a minimum. But whenever she gives it, it's like, it's correct what she's saying, and she gets the tone and all. But it's just also Vishal Bhardwaj has directed this one, and Anurag Kashyap is there playing himself, and he does that setup of what happens in these recording studios and while people are making films and all is shown very accurately, because filmmakers are very odd.
Yes.
And so Anurag Kashyap clearly likes making fun of himself because he's
Yeah,
done
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
before as well. But it's a very cute film, this one.
And the music director is Imad, Nasir's
Yeah,
son.
Imad
Yes.
is, so it's very nicely done. And then the other one which I liked, which I think a lot of people found a little soppy, so maybe I was in a slightly sentimental mood
Okay.
also. Okay, because I cried also while watching this one.
Okay.
So I'm giving this as just
Can I
letting people
guess
know.
which one this was?
Okay, guess. You won't be able to.
It was the first one, the Kashmiri girl.
No, I wish she'd get hit by a car on that bloody flyover. Oh my
Same,
God.
same.
I wanted to slap her so hard. I get so okay. We're gonna talk about the Kashmiri one. It's called Raat
Okay.
Rani, and it's
Yes.
directed by Shonali Bose. Now, Shonali
Yes.
Bose has earlier directed Amu. This
Oh, okay.
fabulous, yeah. As far as I might be giving incorrect information, but
I know for a fact she did Margarita with a straw
yeah,
and
so
one
she
more
did
film.
Amu. She did
Okay.
Amu also.
Okay.
So she's really good usually, and she does these female characters. She's able to get into it. So
Hmm.
Margarita with a straw, it was a good film. I didn't really get into the character that much, but her etching of the character was very good.
Okay.
And her characters are slightly gray. Even Kalki's character in Margarita with a straw isn't like this goody, oh, this
Right.
begone character or something. So this is called Raat Rani, and it features Fatima Sana Sheikh. And she has a husband, a security. So she is a woman, a Kashmiri woman who is working in someone's house as a cook and the help, basically.
Yes.
And in the same building, her husband works as a security guard. His name is Lutfi, which is Bhupendra Jadawat. I have seen him act in some.
He was in Patal Lok.
Oh, that's why he looked
Hmm.
familiar. And anyway, you can make out that she's quite taken with him. You figure out that he's not that taken with her. So although I know a lot of people who, when you say, but how could you only not make out that there was a problem? They say, but
Right.
it seemed, so maybe that's the thing. But basically, there's a separation, and it's how she reacts to that separation.
And she wants to one day go and go onto the sea link, which is an iconic bridge here in Mumbai, which does not allow two-wheelers, and the only vehicle that this couple has is a scooter, and she has a cycle which she can't take. And should we spoil the ending?
Yeah, because it's like
Because
so. Yeah, it's okay,
see-
people. If you don't want to know, don't listen for the next 22 seconds. Okay, carry on.
So yeah, the film, the climax of the film is she finally sort of breaks the rule and takes her cycle onto the ceiling. But it was so like white woman feminism, like, oh, I'm riding a cycle on this ceiling, so now
Yeah.
I'm liberated of all the other problems that I have in my life. They do not even once make any comment about the fact that she's a house help in this very affluent
Yeah.
home,
Which they try
where
to juxtapose the situation that, oh, she has a problem and they have their own problem.
Yes.
Who is that
And
actress? Tanishta
Tanishta,
Chatterjee,
yes.
who acts very well. I have
And
to
this
say.
film, I'm not generalizing, but in the film the family is so forthcoming and so helpful towards her when they find out that the husband has left her. I'm like, we live in a country where the house help has different lifts to go in the same building. I don't know how much of this affluent Bombay family will be forthcoming to help this
Also,
this
even
woman.
if they are, so I found the opposite. I felt that if they are such nice people, right? And I found out that my help's husband has left her. And now she's she has to manage by herself. She doesn't even stay near our house. She stays really far away. That they never said that, like, why don't you shift
Come
nearer?
stay, yeah,
We'll
yeah,
give you
yeah,
money for the auto. Nothing. They are just very
Nothing.
nice to her.
Yeah.
So that was also bizarre that they don't ask her, how are you coming to work every day then? No? And anyway, her behavior. So I'm not a fan of people who have meltdowns and scream and shout, but I agree. I accept that people react differently to breakups and having
Right.
people walk out on them. But it did pretty much nothing for me.
Yeah, same.
It really
Yeah.
just did not work for me
The
at all.
the catharsis did not come across
Yeah.
that, oh, she's riding the ceiling, so her problems are over. Like, no,
So I was just thinking, if she rides like that every day, she'll die by the time she reaches it. Bombay is so humid and hot. She's cycling for 14 kilometers or something. I don't know. It looked very far, however, wherever she was going. It was just, it didn't make sense. It's sweet and
Hmm.
all, but it didn't
Hmm.
really make sense. The one I cried in, though,
Hmm.
was Bai.
Okay. The Hansal Mehta film.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
the Bai is written by Ankur Pathak, Hansal Mehta, Raghav Raj, Kakkar, Kashyap Kapoor. It stars Pratik Gandhi, who I think is very, very talented. And he was in that
Scam 92.
Scam 92, which I
Hmm.
loved.
Yes.
Pratik Gandhi, and it has this chap,
Ranveer. No.
Ranveer Brar,
Yes. Ranveer Brar.
playing a chef.
Yes.
And it's about someone coming out to their family. It's also Tanuja plays, Tanuja is by
He's the
basically,
Bai.
which is,
Yes.
yeah, which is his grandmother, Pratik
Hmm.
Gandhi's grandmother.
Hmm.
And they also deal with the rioting that had happened in
92.
in 92, and how the grandmother had protected them.
Correct.
And how the family doesn't want to, the sister does, Pratik Gandhi's sister does accept, like, she doesn't understand what the big deal is and why the family shouldn't accept his sexuality. But the family keeps saying, don't, like, you'll kill the grandmother if you say this, and you brought
Yeah.
shame to the family. And
And the father is played by Talat Aziz, the
Yeah.
very famed ghazal singer.
oh, I don't know why but he acts, and I've seen him act quite a bit, and he
Yeah.
acts quite well.
Quite well, yes.
Yeah, but even Tanuja acted really well. You have to, but she acts like whatever role she does quite well. But it's about the relationship between Ranveer Brar and Pratik Gandhi, and Pratik Gandhi's relationship with his grandmother, and how things sort of, how relationships across generations, since we were talking about
Right.
generations,
Yeah.
across generations, you can't really say that this is the way someone will react or not react.
Yeah.
And so
I actually thought Ranveer Brar was better than Pratik Gandhi in this segment. I don't know if what you
so
felt.
this is one thing, though. I feel that when they show gay relationships in
Yeah.
India, they first don't show them kissing only then, because they are not kissing each other. We can see his lips are near his ear.
Their backs, the back of their heads.
Yeah, like, don't do this, then you're just being stupid about it. And so that was one thing which it really annoys me when they do this, where there's like
you
1980s.
Want full mouth on mouth kissing.
No, I just want, like, don't show the kissing only then. but it's kind of weird 1980s kind of kissing and all. Although in 1980s, Vinod Khanna was actually kissing Madhuri Dixit in that film.
That was Madhuri Dixit, no?
Yeah, there's one where he kissed Madhuri Dixit also.
I what is that song? I forgot. But I know the one you're talking about.
But I have to say, Ranveer Brar acts very well.
Very well, yes.
For someone who no one knew could act very well, but he does act very well. And it's a sweet film.
But why did you cry?
I cried in Chennai Express also. That's okay. Like, I think I cried in Jurassic World also, when one of the dinosaurs died. I'm a very sensitive kind of person. I feel for people that way. So that the ones which don't work are Masaba, Gupta.
Yeah, I love Thane or something.
Yeah, like good for them, because they are the only people who love Thane, I have to say. And it's just it's about online dating, but it doesn't, it's very weird. It's just not a great film. And Masaba's one is directed by
Alankrita Srivastav. Yeah.
No. Alankrita has directed My Beautiful Wrinkles with Sarika.
Oh, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
That's this one, Dhruv Sehgal of Little Things.
Yeah,
has directed Thane.
But even My Beautiful Wrinkles, I just felt that I get the point. They were
It
making
was
it.
very unreal at one point. Again, spoilers, listeners,
Yeah.
but it's a story about a young guy who falls in love with a woman who's his grandmother's age, and he makes his feelings very known to her. And the film, there is a point where Sarika fantasizes about him, and I don't know, because in Lipstick Under My Burqa also she showed Ratna Pataksha. There was a masturbation scene,
Oh,
and
yeah.
in this one also she's shown. So she's normalizing the idea that older women can also fantasize. But there is one scene where she calls the boy home again, and she says, I also fantasized about you, and then this is all we'll keep it to. We'll just have
Yeah.
tea with each other and we'll fantasize about each other, and that's where we draw the line. And I don't know if that kind of a scene can happen in real life. It's very unreal. No grandmothers have called me for
Yeah.
tea
And
and been
said,
like, "Beta, I understand your fascination with me,
yeah.
but fantasization is where I draw the line."
And here's a biscuit.
And here's
But
a
here's a
biscuit.
biscuit. Have some biscuit.
Also,
So,
here's a biscuit and my a trauma of my ex lover, which I'm going to now
yeah,
unload on
that
you.
also. No, so it was just a little like, so there are quite a few hits, misses and
Right.
fewer hits.
This
in
was
this
what this
film.
was the one which was kind of like in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Did we miss out any of them? No.
So the last one with Arshad Varsi and Chitrangada,
It
which
was
I think
so.
was the weakest one.
It was so. There's one called Cutting Chai,
Yes.
which is directed by Nupur Asthana.
Hmm.
And it has Arshad Varsi is playing someone who works in, like, he's clearly a general manager or something in a hotel.
Hmm.
I hope so, since he's very old in this film.
Hmm.
And Chitrangada is his wife, and she's an aspiring writer. And they have this very, they have a normal marriage, or what is being portrayed as a normal marriage with children, which has lasted for a long time. And now they are all crabbity with each other, but they clearly love each other. Now, 2 3 things. First of all, if my husband or wife from the morning snapped at me like that, I would say, just fuck off. Honestly, I would not be so like she's just, they made her out to be like a shrew, absolutely. And second, Chitrangada used to be such a beautiful woman. I don't know why.
She's still beautiful, yeah.
No, but her face has changed.
It's changed for the better only.
No, keep quiet. It's a little plasticky. Let's
Okay.
put it that way. But it's just a very badly, like, it
Yeah.
just did nothing for you. This-
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So, but watch it and tell us if you think we are being very cynical, but I don't think we are. It just, you're like, what the hell are these people doing? Yeah, it's like nobody cares. And this dancing on Marine Drive, and who is doing this? I want to know. When that you're sweating, first of all.
Yeah, exactly. Especially now.
Yeah, then someone is the sea spray. If you're lucky, you might get some sea spray. But
Yeah.
when there's sea spray, you've almost been washed off Marine Drive, because I've been sitting there when the waves are crashed and we've gone off keel. And it's very dirty, people.
Very dirty, yes.
I just like this thing of painting Bombay to be, I don't know, like Miami or something. It's not.
But
Stop
there
it.
are two more coming up, Modern Love Chennai and Modern Love Hyderabad. Are you looking forward to those?
No. This is sounding terrible, actually. Modern Love Chennai. I don't know what.
Yes.
And Modern Love Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
All these Taboo and all will be in it. I'll watch the
I
Taboo
know.
one. Taboo,
Okay.
Nagarjuna, Amla. I've given you 3. Prabhas. There are 4 actors I've given you who will be in
Are
it.
they in it, or are you just taking a
This,
guess?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I would cast them. So this is on, where was it? On Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So if you all want to feel the love, please watch it. If it wasn't for this show, for this podcast, I would not have watched the full show.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Definitely when I hit that Masaba one, I would have stopped and said, enough, absolutely, as we say. So, what would you, shall we discuss one more thing before we get off the video, and then you all will have to log on to News Laundry to listen to the rest of the podcast?
Yeah, let's do the baby.
What did you think of the baby?
I went into the show without reading anything about it.
Hmm.
I and the thumbnail they have for it on Hotstar that didn't help much, because it's almost like a Pixar kind of a baby silhouette on a red background. So I was like, yeah, हाँ, होगा कुछ like cute
Ah,
सी सा sitcom where a kid,
Rajyasree is feeling
yeah,
like she's watching
yeah.
how
uh,
cute about a
is
baby and a single mother.
yeah, must be like a kid doing funny things in a family, and then how the family comes together and all of that. And I hit play, and the first scene is this woman running in a forest with a baby, and the weird sounds are happening, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is. And then from then the show just kept getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And this is like मैं पूरा दिन का काम वाम करके बैठा हूँ रात को 11:30 बजे, like the lights are dim and everything, and it's a scary fucking show.
It's a
It's just
horror show with a baby as the protagonist. I just loved that premise.
it is, yes. So
They are half an hour episodes, and in each half an hour
that was
episode,
the
there
other
are,
thing that made me feel, oh, तो
yeah.
sitcom ही होगा, half an hour के horror shows कौन करता है. So I was like, it must be like that, but no, they pack quite a lot in 30-minute episodes.
So it's basically it has this. There's this woman. She's single. Michelle de Swart, her name is, and the show is created. It's a British show. It's created by Lucy Gamer and Sean Robbins Grace. And there's this 38-year-old woman who's we aren't sure what her job is, right? Because
No, the one episode that I saw, yeah, it doesn't make
yeah,
any
her
clear.
job
Yeah,
isn't really very clear, but she has a group of friends, of which one already has
a baby.
babies, one has a baby, and I think the other is dating. So, like,
No,
everyone,
one is pregnant.
yeah.
One has a very small baby, and yeah, she's the one who's and yeah, she's the one who's getting sick of all the babies around.
Yeah, and she's single, and her friends, basically everyone else, according to her, from her point of view, seems to have a life
Mm,
and seems to also be very baby obsessed, according to her,
mm,
which is basically they're looking after their babies. So they are
mm.
not baby obsessed, they have babies. Now, what to do? And she is clearly, and she's a little cutting with one of them, and it's taken really badly about her having a baby and not wanting to chill out and all. And then she goes for, of course, she loses her job, right? So she goes to that B and
Retreat.
Airbnb, which
Yes,
is like most
the creepiest
Airbnbs, yeah.
Airbnb in the world.
It's this strange little hut, it looks horrible, and there's a strange woman who is the landlady also, and she steps out of that Airbnb to have a smoke, and that's when the first dead body
Yeah.
shows up, which
Yes.
is it crashes down from the mountains on top of her,
Yeah.
it next to her, and then she finds a baby.
Her
Which,
baby literally falls into her
yeah,
arms from the sky.
yeah. And then the story is of how she is stuck with this baby, and she goes to the police station. She goes, and the police, like, something happens. I don't want to, which I'm a little vague about also, but basically she just can't get
Basically,
rid of the baby.
the baby creates a trail of blood wherever it goes.
Yeah,
Bad things happen to people who
yeah.
interact with the baby. And
And
there
a
is a
dog dies also, by the way.
yes, and there is a very horrific uh breastfeeding sequence in the first episode, which you think is going to go a certain way, but then it takes a very, very shocking turn. And
Yeah.
that was the point. I was like, "नहीं, मैं आज एक episode से ज्यादा नहीं देख सकता हूँ." So I
So,
will definitely catch up with the rest of the episodes, but that one I saw intrigued me a lot. It's a very creepy show. It's a very suspenseful show also, because you want to know why the things that are
yeah,
happening are
exactly.
happening. Yeah.
And also so I've watched 3 episodes. A
Hmm.
lot of people die. I just wanted to know many people are dying. And the thing about it is, so that she soon realizes that anyone who comes in contact with this baby will die
Right.
other than her, Like
Yes.
she's been chosen to be the protector, and she's not particularly happy about it. There is a sister, her sister appears on the scene later. So that's
Okay.
another story which is there. And her
Hmm.
sister is trying to have a baby. So
Oh.
there are like layers upon layers and all. And there's a horrific scene in she goes to her friend for help to try and put the baby to sleep,
Hmm.
and they are in the middle of one of these children's like Disney World, but much smaller, and it's
Right.
just for children. And there's a birthday party happening, and something horrific happens at this birthday party. And so I like very gruesome things. So I think
I'm a
that's
little
why.
creeped out right now at your glee at all the horrible things that are happening in the show.
Yeah, so I like very gruesome, like I like arms falling off and all. So that's why maybe I liked it. But it is taking the like motherhood,
Hmm.
how a child sucks the life out of you, the worst experiences of motherhood. And they made a horror film stretching everything from that premise.
Yeah, and it's even more topical now because the whole abortion issue is hot
Yeah.
in America right now. So
So
yeah.
if the Republicans know what to do for themselves, they should use this show as PR for you want a baby, this is what will happen to you. So no, the Democrats,
Democrats, yeah,
the
yeah.
Republicans will say no. The saintly baby will come your way. But it is definitely, it's on Hotstar. It's worth watching, but if you're very squeamish about blood and gore, and if you're very sensitive and think babies are pure creatures,
Then it's a must watch for you.
then you must watch it.
Yes.
Because there are two other films I have to say which are excellent about babies. One is Omen, of course, with Damien, who my brother used to look like Damien with those
Oh my
curls
God.
and gray eyes. And I have to give the story. My mom was a very young mother because she was whatever, as in she was 26 years old or 25.
Right.
And my brother used to wear those smocks where it's basically like a square. If you put your arms and legs out and you just have holes where the hands come out and feet come out. And my mom woke up and my brother was standing holding the side of his cot, and he was crying. And my mother thought he was Damien because she had watched Omen that day, and she screamed. And then my father just told her, just shut up and go pick up our son because he's screaming, you're screaming, it's too much. But one is Omen and the other is Rosemary's Baby, which is just fabulous, absolutely. So this isn't like as evolved as those two films, but it's quite a lot of fun. So it's worth watching. So it's on Hotstar.
Yes.
You can try and watch it at least.
Please. Yes.
Yeah. So shall we, for the rest of the podcast, you'll need to log on to the website and or go to the app and listen. See, I don't do this part, so I have to think about it. Or go to the app and listen to the podcast. And that's it on the video side.
We, being an independent platform, depend on our readers, viewers, and listeners. Support independent media by subscribing to News Laundry. Go to newslaundry.com, click on the subscribe button at the top, and pay to keep news free.